Welcome to everybody. D-Man, Corey, Mysterio, Mike P in the house, Megatron. What else we got? Timothy, Sokol. Good to have everybody. I thought I would go and talk a little bit about some of the reasons why it doesn't work. It hasn't worked. We just have tried to force it to work, and it's quite interesting. Marriage and why it doesn't work and why it hasn't and why it won't. And you better believe the government's involved in it. Looks like Mysterio writes, is it because mortality is going up? Possibly. But not in the ones I'm thinking. I wonder if being single is the real life and marriage are the temporary alternatives. Interesting. I've been watching this YouTube about fake and real people on this planet. I see the way there are more breakups and get-togethers. Well said, brother. Mike P, good to have you back again, brother. Absolutely. We got, in this day and age, unless something changes, romantic relationships are temporary. Correct. Mike P says, I think it's because of who leads. Women don't need men anymore because they can get money, wealth, kids themselves. 100%. Shout out to Timothy. They use a man to get things for those things. Sure. The acquisition of resources is one of the reasons women marry. If I want to know if a relationship romantic will last, I look at how the woman is with her man, then vice versa. Very few. Again, there's a 98% non-recommended status. There's a 1 to 2% that I think could have a potential, but there is still female and male nature involved. Your channel got nuked too. Yep, it's happening. I think Dak's on his way to getting his nuked. And it's funny because most of these, it's when you see a lot of these subscribers, I wonder how many are real. Appreciate that, Mysterio. History has proven to be no benefit to men. Men are disposable. That is the truth, Timothy. Alex is in the house. Good to see you. Thanks, D-Man, for helping out, brother. Take care. The mistake is thinking you need another person to be happy. Another person can't make you happy. Ooh, 100%. That right there is the absolute topic. Marriage is tied up with religion, God, and communities, treaties, and no love. Love was not part of the equation, 100%. Now, once those constraints are gone, so is marriage. Well said, brother. Fleming Larson, back in the house. Good to see you. David Smith, originally marriage was only meant to solidify family ties or to unite separate tribes. It was to pull resources together. Well said. I think I pissed off too many sensitive people on CNN when I came out against the transformers. Women have complained and told us we are useless, and we listened. You're on your own, ladies. Yeah, and they're catching up with them. My friendships have lasted more than any other relationship I've had so far. Me too. Me too. I am real, and so is my buddy Singleton. Good. Master J in the house. Good to see you. Only we can make us happy. No one else. That's why we say put all of your energy on you. Focus on yourself. You ain't going to make anyone happy, and vice versa. To me, from a man's perspective, men are all about the physical from a woman and very little to no trouble from her. Stereo from Winnipeg. The last girl was hanging out with let me send pics of her she had in her phone, had pics with other men, but for some reason always rejected my advances. So many options they have today. Avoid those types of situations like the plague because they are just another option in the cube. Exactly. I tell these guys on social media, or excuse me, dating apps, use it, play it like a slot machine. You know you're going to lose. Just enjoy the shit show on the profiles. Nora Vincent spent 18 months as a man. Couldn't believe the empathy she received from other men who didn't judge her like women do. That's a very interesting research project, Carl. Good to have you, brother. Yeah. Men care about other men. Isn't that interesting? You want loyalty? Buy a dog. Buy a dog for $300 Trebek. I wonder if all men really want is a girlfriend and separate residence. Come together when you want to have fun. That's the best way to go, Mysterio. Best way right there. Ease in the house. Good to see you. But let me give you guys a list of why it doesn't work from an article written and see if you think. Number one, sex becomes non-existent. Sex dries up with the proposal of marriage. Number two, finances cripple us. It's a lot more expensive today. It's a two-income household, right? Number three, we're more connected than ever before, but completely disconnected at the same time. What? Rad, you're telling me women are lonely in marriage and they got a man next to them sleeping at night? What are the last two? These are the big killers right here. Our desire for attention outweighs our desires to be loved. Our desires for attention outweighs our desires to be loved. It's so easy to get attention today, right? Women seek it. They crave it. It's their currency. And number five, social media just invited a few thousand people into bed with you. People aren't married anymore. They have it's just a matter of time until they flip the switch and open up the option and the floodgates because they're upset at their spouse and they invite somebody else into their life emotionally, mentally, and then eventually physically. Those are the five reasons right there. What say ye? The internet gave those women so many options, and just like children in the toy store, they want everything. Well said, David. If you act like it bothers you, they live on that stuff. They love it too. Women love drama. I'll buy a van as a means of personal accommodation, says Megatron. Ain't nothing wrong with a van, right? Peace, quiet, and freedom. Ease in the house says, tell it, Rad, you speak no lies. I speak from experience. You are a great man with a lot to offer, and you deserve respect. Do not put up with disrespect. Walk away and find another woman who respects you. Absolutely. It's not my job to validate any woman. The only person you need to validate, and I did multiple videos on this on the last channel that got new, but it's all about validating yourself. Don't send any money to me. I want that money to go to you. I want you to buy a new set of hiking boots, a new bike, new ropes to climb a mountain, new weights, right? That's where you validate yourself. I know that Singletown says that if the sex dries up, his girlfriend gets the boot. There you go, brother. Jawara's back in the house. Good to see Jawara. Didn't know. I just decided to go live 10 minutes ago. Karuna. I won't read that. Hybris, Dephilia, Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez. It's when they're in love with those. Is it when they're in love with those whacked out guys on death row? Was talking to a 38-year-old, 280-pound, 2-ton Tessie. Had a child before marriage, now pregnant with someone else's kid while still in marriage. In her words, I won't lower my standards. Ha! I think the programming is why marriage doesn't work and hasn't worked. Because you have the easy out, which is divorce. And then you have the hive-minded women divorcing, which basically unconsciously and subconsciously lets the other women know that they could get out too and be happy. If you stay in a bad situation, you do not have self-respect and you will always lose. Well said, Mike. I'm on the 22-2 diet until my food supplies runs out. You better eat those pancakes and pastas, Jawar, and then get straight to the meat. The road to enlightenment begins with self-respect, and that means walking away from bad situations. And so many people stay in the worst situations. A woman, her job is supposed to add to your life, not run it. Ain't that the truth? Wow. How come that message was never received? Yeah, they won't lower their standards. Just like anything else, unless a woman adds to the quality of her life, then it is a waste of time. Men, again, I believe, stay in rotten relationships because they like to be titled a husband or a fiance or a boyfriend. And they love the idea that they have a connection to somebody who potentially treats them like crap in a toxic relationship, only just to say that they're in a relationship. Right? The hive mind of delusion. Once you sign the marriage contract, she has you by the balls, the short and curlies. The moment you refuse her anything, you are being controlling and abusive. She'll start on the path to divorce. Swick 5-5. There is something now called financial abuse. If you don't give them. Good to have you, Swick. This is why I'm leaving my network engineer job in December and moving back into a help desk role. Peace, quiet, and freedom, Mike. Polska's back. Radke's in town for Lollapalooza. They're playing the Lairs Club, who is owned by the guy who subs in for Murphy's. Oh, interesting. Good to have you, Bob. Hope you're doing good, brother. Random thought about Passport Bros. Everyone moving there, so they're moving to those countries. The problem with the Passport Bros is they're going to the same places that all the other ones are going to. It's like having a 7-Eleven on every other building is a 7-Eleven. Pays almost the same as hourly and don't have to give up my Friday nights. Tired of having no work life. Good for you. You make sure that you not work so hard. As far as waste of time go, hey Dave, there are worse ones. Just like YouTuber Adam 22, he just got married and then left his wife to bang another man. Let his wife bang another man, and it's on camera. What's wrong with these people? Women at best are a depreciating investment for them. Yes, I would agree with that statement. Yeah, we age differently, men and women. Bandmade Thursday, Radkey Monday. There you go. Radkey's that band of brothers, I believe, right? The Black Brothers. Yeah, it's entry level, but you know what? My time off is my time, and I'm not on call 24/7, and no more working there Friday nights in a row. Just sometimes people go for the title or whatever, think it's going to be good, but in the end, I mean, I would never be a sales manager. I tried that once. Hell no. You're sitting on Friday nights with Excel spreadsheets open at the hotel bar. They sure do, Mike. But that's the reality. I mean, marriage does not work in today's modern world. Too many options, too much attention, and the programming is too deep. People get married to say that it's like winning a prize to be considered engaged or married or proposed to. But in the end, nobody believes it. Nobody thinks it's going to work. And this whole idea of getting married to have kids, all right, well, which would be the most obvious reason to get married. But then guess what happens? You lose your kids in court a few years later. Adam 22 had to let her do it. Man, I would have kicked her to the curb. Carl says, it's funny, I'm not looking to expat from the U.S. for women. I'm looking to go there where I'm treated best, culture, food, patriarchal, quality of life. Absolutely. Me too, Carl. The only thing that works is walking away, finding balance. Well said. More people need to do that. Well, good. Let me know. Return and report on those concerts, brother. Last concert I saw was Faster Pussycat. They put on a good show. We don't need a lot, Mike, right? We do not need a lot to be happy. We need a good turkey and pepper jack sandwich. We need a good beverage in our hand, a few chips, fast, a little bit here and there, maybe a nice thriller movie. And we don't need a lot. I think that's an amazing life. One time, at one point in my life, I wanted to be a billionaire so I could have my own private plane and I didn't have to go through. That's the only reason I would want that money, for a private plane and a helicopter. To quote the professor, men age like fine wine and women age like sour milk, Timothy. We talking Lycus? Got to stay away for a bit. Got to step away. All right, no problem. Be careful because a lot of scammers there too. But yeah, I think Asian women definitely don't do a lot of this stuff, especially if you stay there where the laws favor men. Well said. Megatron, ever heard of Soulfly? Is that a band? My last concert was Dinosaur. Ooh, Dinosaur Jr., old school. He went on to do a few of them. He's a good singer-songwriter. I'd be happy with Adequacy. Here you go. Let me bang Tyrone or I'm out. What a tweaker. Adam 22, what a simp. So-called conservative women are just much screwed up. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene or the Glock lady, both foul for it. Yeah. The hive mind is a huge, huge hive. Scotty's back. To see Scotty. Check out Scotty's Friday nights with Ike. He's been putting up some good stuff lately. The Brie Olson one, and he did another one that was great. I like the Brie Olson one. You did a good job, Scotty. I'll take a video, post it. Love to see it, brother. Ironheart's back. Good to see Ironheart. Hello to you. Been watching many content creators that have expat over 5 years, so pretty aware of the issues. Will never get married again. And yeah, you got to figure out how to. You got to know the culture. I mean, I don't think I would ever retire in like Asia. I don't know the language. I don't know I'd like to visit there. I mean, Latin America Central and South America is where I feel the most comfortable. Remember when I speak the Spanish and I know the culture, right? It's a band fronted by Max Cavalera. Awesome. Adam 22 is Cuck Murphy. She sure is. Minimalism is the way to go. Minimalism is the new wealth. Is the new wealth. You don't stress typically, hopefully not. You have better health. You don't have to put, this is one of the greatest things about not being married is I don't have to pay for someone else's life. I don't have to put a huge roof over the heads. The kids will eventually move, so you're empty nesters, but your wife will continue to live as if she did and had 3 kids. They don't believe in minimalism. They want it bigger and better and more. Another thing, we don't have to pay for aging women. Women age, and unfortunately, they have a lot of health issues versus if a man doesn't take care of himself, he's going to have the same health issues. But women, for the most part, the majority of them have a lot of health issues. Now, if a woman takes care of herself, that's a different story. But that's a huge piece of the pie. You're in your 60s and 70s with a wife, but you're seeing that you're taking her to the doctor 2-3 times a week. That's all you become now, a porter. Ike's on tonight, maybe. Sharks or not. I'll have to check out Ike. Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, Crowder. These are cucks too afraid to tell the truth. Betty. Well, they push marriage, right? I mean, listen, in the great, if we had to look at a petri dish of marriage and say, okay, here's where yes, the ideal would be to have kids within it, to build something, but that's theoretic. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because people move apart. I remember my sister got married and she was she actually asked the dude to marry her. Just really white trash side of my sister. I don't know. She grew up in the same family, but she turned into massive white trash. And she marries this guy. And she's like, I'm going to get married. We're going to be so happy. We're going to lose weight. We're going to make money. It's going to be amazing. We're going to come together. The exact opposite happens. You have more money going out. You become fatter. You don't like each other. You're around each other too much. Again, and I did prove me marriage works. Joara says, Jessica Simpson turning to plastic surgery. Yeah. Apparently she's on some diet pill, right? I wonder how many women are emotionally unbalanced. I'm talking unhinged, screaming at her husband for no reason. And a lot of time it doesn't reveal itself until after marriage. So I think it's a lot higher than most people think. I remember in the end, my ex-wife would say, you do not talk to me like that. So I'd say, well, did you learn that from your therapist or what? It doesn't scare me how you talk down to me like that. Family first. That's how I turned out. Things didn't work out that way though. Corey Lee. Modern women are basking in their own entitlement. Being a happy couple becomes a tragedy. Ooh, well said. Being a happy couple becomes a tragedy. It's just the risk and rewards. The risks are too high to even gamble, even living with somebody. What could potentially come out of a living situation it could put you in prison. It could bankrupt everything. Get freeze back. You ain't scared. Get real old and no, I'm not scared. Most of these majority of marriages in the end are so alone. Yeah. And then you're walking on eggshells. The wall conquers all. Thanks for letting us know. Yeah, Scotty's been doing the wall. Yeah, he did that one on the wall. That was great too. 1/2 to 4/3. Says Corey Lee. Every worker I know either takes meds or smokes devil's grass to function normally. Ooh, a lot of folks are doing that, man. A lot of people just can't be with themselves. Well, Singletown is minimalistic. So is his girlfriend don't want to live with that she will have to leave because he is about to live off the grid. I didn't know he had a girlfriend. Interesting. I'm afraid of dying while leaving a mess behind. Nothing to fear. We just go to a different room in the Matrix. We just leave this mortal coil. We take our bits of data that we call a spirit, and then we move to another room of the Matrix. And we'll find each other again in MGTOW. She's a minimalist too. That's good. That's good to have, especially in the relation. I think relationships work if they truly can be minimalistic together. At best, a happy marriage is a 5 to 8 year deal, and the exit price is often several hundreds of thousands of dollars, says Carl. Well said, brother. Just splitting up the assets 50-50, which she was entitled to, because we earned it during marriage. Yes, I earned it the majority, basically 99% of it, but she also was part of it. It's a very expensive proposition, especially if you have huge accounts that you've built up for 20, 25 years, and you got to give half your retirement away. It is what it is. But I would say 5 to 8 months, Carl. It would take the years. I learned from my failed marriage, if I'm not happy, fulfilled by myself, I damn sure won't be with a woman. And that's the truthy. Most men marry because they want a woman to make them happy. That right there is pitfall. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm looking forward to it, just not allowed to rush it. I'm not afraid anymore. Kids know me. I've done a lot in my life. Karuna says Rad's better than any therapist. Therapists just want you to keep coming back for the money. We don't do this for money. Thanks, brother. I do not know how one can live off the grid in this satellite world. A man can live anywhere with minimum if he wants. Well, the mountain man existed. Civilization, if you look at civilization, it's a great comment, Betty, by the way. Civilization really did. Electricity wasn't even around the 40s. That's when they started building. And they're only the big cities that got electricity. So we haven't even been living for 87 years in this high-tech environment. I mean, I asked my grandfather, he died at almost 104 years of age in 2019. I said, what was the greatest invention in your lifetime? He said the refrigerator. I asked him, was it the plane? Was it the computer? He said his first car was a horse, right? He's not going to live with her. Okay, gotcha. BJ's in the house. Good to see you, brother. But he said that the greatest invention was a refrigerator because it extended life mortality. You could obviously chill penicillin, right? And penicillin was responsible for knocking out 80% of the diseases back in those days. And also, so food wouldn't spoil and then you'd get sick and things like that. Very interesting world in the last 80 years that we've come out of. And I would say in the last 50, let's just say the last 30 years. And I've been lucky, and you guys have hopefully been lucky that are my age to see all of this information. We didn't have the internet growing up. We didn't have cell phones. That's why we're stronger people. Sonny says, hey, Rad, if a guy's girlfriend's happy to have children with him, but she's a COVID vaccinated, which can transmit shedding of spike protein, what would the guy do? Well, if she's jabbed, she's a hive minder. So I would get rid of that. That would be my advice. Rad, I'm sure you saw the reel that's occurring now in Florida due to DeSantis' change in alimony laws. Hysterical. You want that Starbucks, you got to work for it. There you go. There you go, Carl. Absolutely. I'm not married, but if I were, I would have to be 100% certain the woman looks up to me, likes me more than I like her, and thinks I'm the best man she can ever get. I think you're right about that. I think you are absolutely 100% right, Scotty. You have to be the pilot. in that situation. You're a cancer survivor. Ooh, I guess I'm not done quite yet. Well, there's a reason you're still with us, brother. Glad you're still here. Beautiful Life from Laguna Beach is back. Good to see you. 2 uncles and my father got divorced here. I also tried 2 relationships in my whole life. I don't have faith or trust on them anymore. Once you get burned the first time, now a lot of us are responsible for our own burning as well. We chose poorly. We didn't hold frame. You know, we fucked up. But it takes 2 to tango. A ball for the brethren. That's right. Scotty says, but I thought I had one like that 4th grade school teacher. Limited number of relationships, parents still together, changed after a year in the marriage. She knew the game. Well, they all know the game. You know, 98% of women are not recommended in Rad's world. 1 to 2% are still female nature, and male nature is there too. Guys can't compete with what's in her phone. Ain't that the truth, E? Sunny H, yeah, stay away from that. Marriage, familiarity breeds contempt. Familiarity breeds boredom on her part. Familiarity breeds lack of blank sexual interest on her part. Yeah. Familiarity breeds contempt. When you're around each other all the time, you get tired of each other. I get tired of being around my kids, my boys, and I only see them half the time. Everybody needs space. What's your favorite cheat food? Oh, man, Karuna, you got to ask me that crazy question. Oh, I love it all. I go on kicks. Sometimes I like candy. Sometimes I like pizzas. Sometimes I like, McDonald's. I try to keep myself, I'll be 51 next month. I just try to keep myself healthy. If I could ride my bike up Park City Mountains in the same time that I did, and I killed it last weekend, then I'm feeling great about it. That's how I manage. I keep my expectations there. Even when you think you fully vetted a female, she can and probably will eventually flake on you. T-Tox is in the house. Good to see you, brother. You're right. They have so many options. Women, again, what did the article say? The 5th one is social media has invited thousands of people into your bedroom. Nachos for Corey. Fried chicken. Colonel Sanders. That can happen. It's easy for them to do. That's why we preach no cohabitation or marriage. That's absolutely right. Again, there's a double standard in everything. So if there's a domestic violation going on, you're going away. You're the one who's having problems. You're the one that's at fault, even though it's just what it is. There's a double standard. We just have to accept it. So to get out of the double standard, you don't play by the double standard. You become the gold standard. That's all you do. You stay out of marriage, cohabitation, and heaven. And for heaven's sake, no kids. Not the fact I don't like kids. Kids are very risky investment today. You won't most likely see them, but 20% of their life. Are you willing to do that and pay out the yin-yang and child support? Said it before, the only way to win a rigged game is not to play. I like to go and play $5 in slots. That's all I pay. 5, maybe 10. And I see all the people around me just thinking they're going to make a shit ton of money. Everything's going to be great and so forth. Doesn't happen. I go for entertainment. I know I'm not going to win, but I play it that way. I don't suggest playing the marriage or relationship game like that. You stay away from the casinos. And marriage is a casino. And guess who wins? Curdle's good, but not as satisfying as shake and bake. Shake and bake from the 80s and the 70s. Women were never meant to have power. I think the best version of a wonderful woman is to be a mother and a great wife. And that's an easier, if they were if women could be terrific mothers and terrific wives, they would have everything under the sun. That man would go to great lengths to make her happy. It's a very simple recipe, but that doesn't happen anymore. Right? I think, again, pilot and co-pilot is the way to go, but unfortunately it's too risky. Even if you raise your voice at her, she can have you. Yes, 100%. She can make stuff up. I heard a story about, I think Coach Craig Adams had it. RP anomalies in the house. Good to see you. Coach Greg Adams did something. He read a story about how the chick had her brother beat her up, bruised her, and then the guy got hauled off to jail. He wasn't even in the city when that happened. He was on a business trip and spent $50,000, $60,000 defending him, and finally got divorced and got fleeced that way. But I mean, again, playing with fire. Fleming, you're absolutely right. The house always wins. Swick says, even if a woman enters marriage with good intentions, she knows deep down that divorce isn't easy out. She knows the court system and the government is on her side. And she knows that because it's programmed, and she's seen her friends, family members, potentially parents, brothers, sisters, everyone go through it. They all know how it goes down. And you're right. Divorce is an option. That's why it doesn't work. Before Reagan signed the divorce decree laws in the state of California, it was an 87% marriage rate. Now, were those happy marriages? I would say 1% of marriages are happy or were happy. Did I have some happy times in my marriage? Sure. There were times when we loved being around each other. But the majority, it didn't work. It fell apart and we hated each other. Popeyes, Louisiana Kitchen. I love me some Cajun food down there. My cheat day, I'll do a fast and then I'll give myself a day and a half. Hopefully not go overboard. But I like to balance my health and weight by fasting. And I try to eat as healthy as I can. But, I crave a little Big Mac every now and again. JLM's in the house, but she can and does. And all the guys I can do is walk out of the house. He pays for it. Absolutely. Luckily, my attorney was such a bulldog that she didn't get rewarded for getting divorced. She had to pay for everything. There was no alimony, none of that crap. Jawara, 50 to 60K. Yep. Again, who do the popo, the fuzz work for? They work for the city government. Who did the city government work for? And the judges, they all get paid by the same bank account. The county or city of blank blank. The city and county of disposable men. That's who pays their bills. The same guy that endorses the judge's check that pays the judge's check also pays the cops. You seeing it now? It's a business. You can go to jail on just an accusation. Disengage, ignore, and when you reject a woman, her head explodes. There you go, Timothy. Corey says, keep a go bag handy. Yeah. I think that's definitely a great advice. Brad could do a barbecue stream. I'm not good at barbecuing. I never have been. My ex was a great barbecuer. She did it all, but I just never learned it. I respect my brothers that can do it. I just never got. I mean, I can barbecue, but I'm not that very good. My ex fleeced me during the divorce, but I got away with my dignity. The kids come around anytime they want, and I have peace, quiet, and freedom. BJ Fornash, good for you. Still, that first initial, it's tough when you're not around your kids. And rejection is the hardest part for men. Being rejected. We do not like rejection. That's another thing. These women think that happiness should be a constant feeling. They cut and run during a hard time. Yeah, it's too boring. Being happy all the time doesn't bring drama, and drama creates excitement, whether it's good or bad. And drama typically is bad. I second that. Karuna, says Polska. Bob did a sleep stream his best ever. There you go. I live alone and still have a bug out bag. Good for you. Detox. Yeah, stay safe. I've come to realize other bags of things are more handy. No, I'm not explaining further. Then fleeced and divorced. Can you believe that? I got a buddy that had to spend 20 grand. His wife basically said some things that were untrue, but the cops believed him. He went to jail for a night and spent 20 grand just to get that off his record, expunged. Rad, good, get free. No, I don't like any Utah teams. Oh, well, BYU, the Cougars. I'm not a Utes fan. I'm not an Aggies fan. Never own or possess anything you can't walk away from when the shit gets thick. That's, again, minimalistic lifestyle. Minimalism is where it's at. Minimalism brings the most peace, quiet, and freedom. Get out of debt, stay healthy. Your health is your greatest wealth. Doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank account. You got no health. If your health is bad, you're gonna spend all that money. It's funny. People work 45 years. They have horrible health, and they spend all their retirement trying to take care of it all. Be done as soon as you can. It doesn't take a lot to live in this world if you do it right. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the van life. Van life is mobile. Yeah, you get used to it. I mean, man, I lived in Venezuela where I lived with no running water. We'd have to take every 3 weeks, we'd get water. We'd fill a 32 gallon garbage cans up. We'd take cup showers. You learn to live very sparingly. Just having a sidewalk to walk on in some of these small little villages were non-existent. A sidewalk is wealth of a city. Just think about that. Sidewalks. In the majority of this world, there aren't sidewalks. There's dirt roads. Wasn't that De Niro says in The Heat? Probably. That was a great movie too, Polska. The movie Rounders, a sheep can get shorn many times, but skinned only once. There you go. Matt Damon. Was he in that, or was it Ed Norton? Can't remember. That's the key. I mean, look, we try to let guys know that getting in relationships with women today is not recommended. 98% of women are not recommended. And the 1% to 2%, if you do find somebody, make sure they have their own house, their own living, their own resources. If they scratch your back and make you food, and they'll give it up whenever you want it. And go to great lengths to make sure you're happy, great, that works. But never move in, never cohabitate, and for hell's sake, don't have kids or take on anyone else's kids. Now, I just limited your pool by probably a millionth of 1%. I know that 2 women I dated later married and then divorced their husbands. I tell myself that could have been me. Look at all of the divorce out there. And we've said this. John Boston talks about this, Jonathan Noble. You go and sit in a temporary orders courtroom when the 2 people are at their initial divorce and watch what happens. So how should the guy break up with his girlfriend peacefully and smoothly without hurting her? Just say, look, I'm not interested in being with somebody that doesn't have my same values together. I do not believe in the pokey pokey. I do not believe in believing the government. We're completely, completely on opposite life paths. And just don't be nice. Just lay it down in Chinatown. Men are natural minimalists. MGTOW comes to save brothers. Men find MGTOW at the right time. We do not recruit for this. We do not tell. If you tell your buddy that's getting divorced, hey man, go check out these red pill channels. They're just not ready for it. My divorce cost me 25 grand. Ooh, you got off easy. The house, and haven't seen my sons in 25 years. Don't do it, Judge. Sorry to hear that, Timothy. Sorry to hear that, brother. Yeah, they definitely were poison, those boys. Hopefully they grow up if they get married and realize it. Women are the consumers. Walk into any department store, 90% of the store caters to ladies. Jason Reed from Colorado. Well said. I took my boys there when they were 10 and 14. I said, how much of this department store sells to men? And they're like, Dad, very little. It's like the men's department and like the tools. The tool department was tucked away, right? Because it's all sold to women. I go, yes, sir. Dang right. It's sold to women. Women are the consuming majority of society. So if you have a product, do not sell to men, sell to women. I live such a simple life. I don't even need a calculator. T-Tox. Good to have you, brother. Hope all is well. Can't find a woman without her own house unless it's the stolen marital house. My ex took half of everything and she bought a house. Good for her. At least my kids had 2 nice houses going back and forth. Nice is narcissism, says Megatron. don't spare their feelings, you wouldn't get the same treatment. My attorney said if I'm nice or a dick in divorce, I get the same result. I believed him. Or one her baby daddy bought her, or her daddy bought her. Yeah, sure. I mean, for the most part, I think 90% of real estate is purchased by men, and especially husbands. You know, marriage doesn't work. It sure as hell doesn't work anymore. Complacency or familiarity, easy options to get divorced, social media is the moment you screw up, you don't make her happy. She's scrolling through her friends and her old high school boyfriends or friends guys she knew in 7th and 8th grade. I mean, my sister had an affair with her 7th grade boyfriend when she was unhappy with her husband. They eventually divorced. I mean, this happens all the time. Most of these wives that divorce their husbands, they get back with the guy from high school. They're literally dating guys from high school. You know, the one that got away. So if a woman leaves you or leaves the husband, most likely she is with somebody she's already known. Get free. I have a judge, a friend that lived in my neighborhood who was a sitting judge, and he told me to get this guy. That's how I got lucky. But it's all who you know. Research suggests women consume 70 to 80% of everything in our society. Absolutely right. They've done. Forbes did an article on that. No problem, Bob. Forbes did an article that, yeah, I think it was higher than that, 80 to 90%. T-Talk says, all good rad, got a new stick with a high mobility hydraulic ankle. Wow, that's got to be a trip. Like I saw a guy walking the other day up the hill on a hike, and he was killing it. Like, you know, I talked to him for a second, didn't ask him. I'm sure he looked like a vet or something, a veteran, but he had his literally bionic feet and legs, and just, he looked great. I mean, he owned it, and he was out living life. Wasn't going to let anything happen. And T-Tox has gone through that, 2 years ago, 2 years in December, I think, right? Having the amputation. Good for you, brother. Glad you're out there. Now, I'm sure you can ride bikes. I'd like to know if you have prosthetic legs, if biking does anything, because you have a lot of knee movement. So I bet they do. Jonathan Noble, playing it safe out there. You know, he's got, I think at his age, and he wants to hang, you know, when we did that live stream, he said, look, he's got a lady friend. She lives 60 miles away. They get together every other weekend. He probably spends the night, or she spends the night. They have a bottle of wine, have some good food, chat, be intimate, and then they're off living their life again. I think that's a good way to do it. Men make money, women spend money. A woman is a hole in the ground that you throw money into, and it's still, you can't pitch it. My mother-in-law was losing money because my father-in-law at the time had lost everything. He went through, you know, just not great decisions. And she was still spending like she was living in a high-rise mansion. It's crazy. Men would say, I'm bleeding. I'm cutting the internet out. I'm getting rid of my subscriptions. I'm going to sell my car. I'm going to get a bike. They'll do everything to curb their spending. Basically, everyone I know from growing up got divorced. Marriage is a business for women, says the forever bachelor Timmy Kramer. Timmy Kramer in San Diego. Escaping the hot heat. You better be out there next week, right? Or this week. Is it supposed to be hot as hell in Arizona? Apparently, Phoenix is supposed to hit 120. I'd go with a wood pirate peg leg. By Captain Cook. So is M standing for channel number 13? M stands for minimalist. I wanted something. Dak said I should have had something short. I could have been rad, rebel against defeat too, but who knows? Good for you. You can hike better. Awesome, brother. Marvel Elite is back. Good to see you. Heading back to the beach on Saturday, says Timmy Kramer. He's melting out there. Was it a De Beers commercial? It's her day. It's all about that. Listen, marketers are not smart or not stupid. They market to women, and they market to women's emotions. Good for them. Watch Mad Men. If you have a product that could potentially help youthen a woman, could potentially delay the wall, could make them sleep better, be happier, they'll buy anything. It's crazy. Remember when the Aussie hair shampoo was big back in the 80s? Aussie came in that huge red white bottle. And they're like, it's the greatest thing because it's Aussie shampoo or something. Someone created a way to make something look really amazing. And it was, turned out to be no different than Pert Plus. Rad Resurrected would have been cool. I thought about that, David Smith. Who knows? Maybe I'll change again. Women are starting to make a lot more money nowadays with hypergamy. They're going to price themselves right out of the market. Jason Reed. I just listened to a podcast. Was it Joe Rogan saying that 63% of women are enrolled in college? So men are checking out. Men are not doing the jobs anymore. They've seen it. Women are going to be left literally earning the money and, dealing with what comes with that. Being corporate women and then realizing when they're 40, they have nobody to be with because all the guys are taken or whatever. They missed the boat. The whole Diamond De Beers story is quite fascinating to me. There's so much of them, and they've made this market think that they're so rare. They're not rare. Peg legs have their uses too. I wonder how Jonathan Noble avoided the ultimatum. I think he just found someone that was on the same boat. But you never know. Diamonds aren't forever. No, they're not. That would be a great bumper sticker. Oh, the one with the rue on the front. Yes. Remember Ozzy? I like Scrimshaw. Another reason to avoid marriage is women bringing huge debt that she expects you to pay off, not to mention running up huge credit card bills during her mall visits. I paid off $2,000 when we got back from of her installment Nordstrom card. And I said, we're never going to debt again. And we never did. I should have made her pay for it, but I was being the pilot. You can use mane and tail and get the same ingredients. That's right. Go to the dollar store and just get a dollar body wash. Especially with no head of hair. And speaking of no head of hair, Gone with John is here. Good to see you, brother. Another fellow Chrome Dome. I just use body wash. I don't need shampoo. I mean, I could use shampoo. So it is what it is. Good to see Gone with John. Check out his stuff. He's doing live streams all the time. I did see one of your videos on your power washing business. I thought that was pretty cool. That's another thing. Gone with John's got some good content about how to get guys making money, how to live a minimalistic lifestyle, and all the pitfalls of dealing with the ladies. I got to read this one. Koki the Jungle Frog. Is that like Ribby the Frog? But I mean, the reality is if you're going to get married, you eventually get divorced. Happiness does not exist anymore. It's too easy. Your marriage is, husbands are boring and women are and wives become really naggy because the drama isn't there. The drama isn't there for them. The mystery. She already knows who you are. That's another big reason. I think that was my number one, was the mystery goes away. And when the mystery goes away and the constant excitement is not there, they get bored. And then the bit switch turns on and it's over. It's never turning off. Right? This guy said controlling and abusive and controlling and abusive. There you go. But that's the reality. That is the reality of marriage in today's world. All of us would have thought, and another thing is love. Does love exist? Love is chemicals, apparently. And chemicals finally go away. It's like playing that new video game. And you love it those first 3 times you play it. It's new, it's exciting. Then you learn how to use your weapons. And then you beat the level 3 or 4 times. And then it gets boring. You buy a new video game. The dopamine's not there anymore. Dopamine is a huge driver. But I always say if love existed, everybody that was in love would have conquered all. So next time somebody says, why don't you have a girlfriend or a wife, just say love doesn't exist. Oh, yes, it does. And the blue pillars come out and they just go nuts. Yes, it does. I go, oh, well, then if it did, why is divorce rate? Oh, well, because relationships take work, but love conquers all. Of course, relationships take work. Every one of us is in a relationship with ourselves. Are we doing the best work possible? It takes work even for ourselves. It takes work to go to the gym, to eat healthy, to do the things we need to do, to believe. Right? They do love calling the authorities, Jawara. Stay away from the fuzz. Fleming says the Lizzos. Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, it's we live in Generation Clown. That's where we live now. To quote Hammer, control your biology and women have no power over you. Well said. Love is on a different spectrum. I always love it. Oh, but love, you can be in love. You got to water your love. You've got to fertilize it. Oh, geez, Louise. No, it's just chemicals that go away. It's like when you eat a Krispy Kreme. Oh, it tastes so good when you've got it in your mouth. And then you eat 3 or 4 more. And then that dopamine, that rush of crispy and fried and sugar and salt, and you love it, and the dough. And then 10 minutes after you eat you're like, why did I do that? Metaphysical with the right one. There you go. Monk mode mining. This looks like Ribby the Frog guy. Women have cell phones, media selfies, and countless contacts on apps. They don't need a single man anymore. The brains are filled. And they're programmed. Absolutely. Why do you think heavy women like Lizzo's and these heavy women have so many? They're programmed. It doesn't matter what they look like, what they eat. They get out anything they want. Well said, Ironheart. Everything takes work, in case no one told you. Well said. David Smith in monk mode for 300, Trebek. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong at all. You get more time and energy to focus on yourself. Singletown and me play Battlefield 2142 still, and it's from 2006. There you go. What about Duke Nukem? I haven't seen Rolly from Ecuador. I don't know. He's been gone. He maybe got married. Anything emotional or romantic will darken the prison we call freedom. Embrace the freedom. Freedom is wealth, and so is health. Love is a frame of mind, nothing tangible. Sorry, guys, unicorns don't exist. It is, yeah. It's chemicals. It's dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. That's all it is. It's lust. You can love somebody, but being in love is bullshit. I don't believe it. I thought I was in love. I don't believe it anymore. How about that? No, I'm telling you it's true. Must be. So many of my ex-girlfriends told me so. Well, if they told you so, then it is true. So we will take their word of advice. Anyhow, I've been watching this channel. His name is Morgue Official. And he's got some, he looks like he looks funky. I'll put it up, Morgue Official. My new kind of like, he's into quantum physics. He's into I just watched this one that said the internet died 5 years ago and you're not real. And he talks about the programming. So if you guys go watch that video, the internet died 5 years ago, and it talks about the programming of people. And it literally coincides to what we're talking about here. People hate Duke Nukem nowadays. Supposedly he's toxic male. Beta males everywhere. There it is, Morgue Official. Greetings, fellows. Well wishes to you, Rad. Good to hear you, Project AZ and the good men chasing excellent escape velocity from the world. Internal validation is the key to peace, quiet, and freedom. Well said. Internal validation is all we need. So when we look to others, especially women, to do that, ain't gonna work, guys. See, what's gonna happen is if you look to a woman, gonna check it. Yeah, check them out. It's great stuff. If you like quantum physics and the illusion, living in a matrix, that's the key. I mean, if you have that, you can't make anyone happy. And if you try to hitch your wagons to somebody, especially a woman, a wife, whatever, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to be rejected. Men are more rejected in marriage, being married, than not being married. Think about that one. Chew bubble gum and I'm all out of gum. There you go. I wish this movement happened 40 years ago. I'd have more buddies to golf and travel with. Most of my divorced friends lost most of their dough. Well said. Great stream, Rad. Keep on keeping on. Yeah, we just come together and chat. That's what we do. Swick, 555, Chris Rock was right when he said, you're not her first choice. It's almost certain that no matter the woman you're with, there's another guy out there who she really wishes she wants to be with. Truth, truth, truth. You are never her first choice. WHO is back. And if you're married, that makes more sense. You were never her first choice. The one got away. She got married because she wanted kids, or she wanted the title and the wedding day. I remember my wife, I look back on the wedding day, she looked great. But man, I could see her, she loved the attention. And I thought it was because she was in bliss and happily in love. I think I was wrong. I Hate Dogs channel says the same thing every day. Those mutts, mutt lovers, dog nuts. Camp and fish with my buddies, that's what I do. Attaboy. Sitting on the banks of a river with a fishing line and having the current take that fishing line, just watching it, having the mystery of, are you going to catch a fish? And just enjoying peace, quiet, and freedom. That's what we do. That's what we do. Backpacking is fun too. I used to do that in Scouts. Haven't done it for a long time. Need to start doing it someday. A tall ship has only one steering wheel. Be the captain of your ship. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Rad, I was called the diamond in the rough. Thought it was a compliment from my ex-wife before I married. Now I know the truth. She settled for me. I'll jump in the boat with you. Thoughts on Ron DeSantis? Well, Trump calls him desanctimonious. I think that he is not a bad choice. I would prefer number 45, just because I think he can stand up and not cave. That's why people do not want him back, because people were afraid of him. People knew that he didn't mess with the Donald. I think DeSantis has done some good things for the state of Florida, especially with Disney and the Skittles. I don't know much about his politics as a governor, but again, my choice comes because I want a strong man back. Will that happen? Well, what happened in 2020? Could it happen again? Gotta watch what I say. As soon as I arrive, Scott. Wow, well, appreciate you guys getting those likes up. E says, I want Trump back. Well, they're discounting him, but we don't know what's going to happen with the voting machines and the powers at hand. The George Soros, the Carl Schwabs, the deep state. That's why we have to be minimalist. We have to remember this. If you get married or get in relationships, guess what? You are not going to, you're going to be part of that, bamboozlement by the government. Taurus, thanks for being here, brother. Appreciate the question. Catching a salmon or a trout. I love me some salmon. Trout's got to be really prepared well. It's just got a weird taste. Love or hate him, Trump got things done. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I prefer Trump as well. If he does come back, it'll be scorched earth. Oh, he will destroy when he gets back. I think Vivek Ramaswamy, Trump likes the guy. I think he would be in his cabinet. I think he's smart. He's just too new. I think he says some good things. We want the prices back. I just saw diesel is $3.69. It's gone down from the $5 it once was. If the ladies initiate 80% of the divorce, what do you see with the lady Skittles? 90%. Is she from California? Good to have you, brother. I like Ron DeSantis, but he is dependent on big money donors. Agree. These donors don't want him messing the deep state. Donald will go after. That's the thing. Apparently Donald is the only the president that's not related to the English monarchy or something like that. I'm surprised he hasn't been taken out by like somebody in his own group. Apparently, Trump does not eat. McTow, good to see you, brother. Apparently, Trump does not eat at the same restaurant every day for fear of his food being tainted. We need someone in office to go to war against this woke Skittles. Absolutely. I'm disgusted. Joe Rogan and Ice Cube, the rapper, just did something the other day talking about the Transformers and the Skittles and how people are sick of this shit. Go watch it. I would love Thomas Sowell as Secretary of Finance. I'd love Ron Paul to be Secretary of Finance, but he's no longer in politics. Did Brandon quit? Brandon Trueblood? Think the debate with Trump and DeSantis against the Democrats, especially Biden, would be hilarious. Sure. Yeah, and the new, the contestant that won the Transformer. There's been a couple of Transformers. There was one in Spain that won too. Men or women's competitions. I mean, it's like, apparently, I read something that the whole Transformers Skittle movement is the fall of society. That's when it fell in Rome, and we're going to see it again. You know, if you say anything, they're coming after you. Did others here see the video of Trump? Yes. When the guy got out of the ring and fist bumped the Donald, I thought that, yeah, Dana White, man. How many people watch MMA? How many people know Dana White's name? Dana White's no dummy. He's worth, I don't know, probably $1 billion at this point. He's put together the most fascinating entertainment in the last 25 years. And Trump shows up and the crowd goes nuts. What's that tell you? And those tickets aren't cheap to go see an MMA fight. Salty crack notification. Blank is a dead man. Yeah, what's going on over there is very interesting. Gotta wonder if Tom Brady knows about the men's movement. Probably not, Timmy. They say men are the problem. Yet on this, but on this Survive the Island, Genders Divided showed how uncooperative they truly are. Yes, I think that their biology programming, the majority do not, they're not team players. Nothing based on anti-nature stands long term. Well said, Project. Rab, what do you see behind the whole Skittle push? They're not enough for the population to affect a vote. What do you think the pandering is? They just want to take God out of everything, or whatever, if you're religious. They want to take goodness out of everything. It's truly the destruction of humanity. Really, that's what I think. And I think it's to take out men, the toxicity of men. I think it's to, again, go read what happened to Rome. We're experiencing the same thing. It's kind of crazy, and it's for a new world order, basically. And in the end, an NWO. It's kind of crazy because Arizona is getting blue now. I was really thinking of moving to Phoenix, but I don't know. Yeah, well, all the Californians are moving there. And Texas is the same way. Yep, is a Transformer, Marvel. Decepticons and Transformers are the same, just in uncomfortable shows. Well said, Who. Shout out to the beautiful country of Uganda. They're not playing that Transformer and Skittles nonsense. No, they're not. Yes, it's because Californians are moving there. Big Angry Phil did a video in the Mass Netherlander winter. It's ridiculous, man. What's right is wrong. What's wrong is right. I mean, look at that new film out called Something of Freedom about the child trafficking. How sick Hollywood is. Skittles, and they want to normalize that too. Being with underage people. Yep, I agree with that statement. Carrie Lake is the only huge positive about Arizona. Yes, she's not bad looking either for her age. I'm moving out of California. I'm not from here, just stuck here. Good for you, brother. I think the best way for men to solve the woke agenda and the female consensus, choose your weapon, but don't engage in discussion. No, you cannot talk to these people. They have a mental illness. They run on feelings. We do not run on feelings as someone going their own way. We run on facts. And that is the problem. We've gone from a logical, factual-based society to a society that runs on emotions and feelings and emotions. And if you say anything wrong, you're controlling and abusive. And they come up with new words all the time. They're now labeling normal people with different names. CIS. I'm not CIS. I'm a man, son. That's where we're at. We live in a world full of, it's Generation Clown. Generation Clown for 300 Trebek. Corey says he runs on piss and vinegar. I go to college in Orlando. The city of Orlando is the most lived city in Florida. You go to downtown where City Hall is, pride flags. Oh, there's pride flags in Provo, Utah, all over the place, which is a very high dense Mormon population. It's everywhere. And the microaggressions. Oh yeah, you can't say anything. You can't even ask them a person. It's considered you're a bigot, you're this, you're that. It's sad. Then they run home and they get on their iPhones and play some video game, live in their parents' basement. That's why at 53 I chose to give up on the hope strategy of legacy. The best survival at this point in life, if your kids are grown or you have no kids, is to literally live a mobile, peace, quiet, and freedom life. That is the key. That is the only way you will survive. And be content with that. And find ways to experience new things, new foods, new cultures, new activities. Don't be afraid to go places alone. You don't need anyone to go. You can hike the mountain by yourself. You might want to take a beacon, but it is what it is. My feelings, it's abusive to contradict it's mental illness. Look at the Chinese do to the people that do that. They don't tolerate this crap. Why do you think they're going to be the #1 superpower? They basically already are. Saving every dime, says Timothy. Radical Rafter is back. Beware of the great divorce. Yeah, beware of it. Good to see you, Radical Rafter. Project AZ says, and I'll end this in a minute, and marriage has never be anything to an institutionalized legal means of male disposability. Well said. Men are disposable, especially in marriage. Microaggression for 200 Trebek. What sucks about California is they move away from their POS-made state, move somewhere else, and still vote the same way. Yeah, they're idiots. Has never been anything, I mean. Correct. Men are disposable. And in those days, and the love of the greater number will cool off. Tom is in the house. Good to see you. We are basically modern-day Rome, this world. We are modern-day Rome. Men are leaving. They're realizing. I mean, look at the enrolled people in college. 63% are women, whereas it used to be 78% were men. If not higher, back 40, 50 years ago. So men are checking out. Men are decided it's not worth it. Guys, this has been a great stream. Remember, it does not work. Marriage does not work, and hang in there. A great divorce, real quick, is when someone gets divorced in their 50s, 60s, and it's a shit show. You guys are great. Hang in there. Good to see everybody. We'll see you on the next one. I'm out.